things are not looking too bright for Colombia. Vinny.
Sumit Peer also joins us on the program. Sumit, an incident like this only goes on to tell you and deeply instill in you the appreciation one would have for India, where regardless of a very astute political opposition and opposition clamor and narrative, there is no violence. There is obviously a lot of argument. There is a lot of bickering. There is a lot of back and forth. There is gali galoch, but there is never this kind of violence that Colombia and perhaps some of its other countries around it are used to. Sumit.
Vinny, thank you for having me on your show. Apologies, I got late. I somehow thought the show starts at 7. My mistake. Look, the issue is very simple. This country is ruled by drug lords and warlords, and the country is known for drug cartels, drug money, drug peddling, and it used to be the fiefdom of people like Pablo Escobar. Even if you go to 1980s, there were presidential candidates who were shot like this in broad daylight. So after about 35 years, we're back to 1980. It is a typical style of Colombia. You will find a 14-year-old minor. Usually for these crimes, they find minors. The minor will go and shoot somebody and he will be sent to a remand home. After 1 or 2 or 3 years, he will come out, he will be fined. Then eventually these are the people who end up to be the most hardened criminals. Question is not did the minor shoot or not, who sent the minor, where did the gun come from, why government could not protect him, why there was no bulletproof jacket, why there were no commandos, why was there no police protection, why was there nothing. You were letting this person to be a stink duck. You had 2 shots in the head and 1 shot somewhere else. Possibly of him getting a proper even medication or proper ilaj in Colombia is a big deal. In all probability, if this person passes away, you are sending a very, very clear message, a very, very political message that the current formation which is there, if you stand against them, you will be eliminated. That is the message they are trying to send. And let me remind you, sir, these are the same set of people whom Dr. Shashi Tharoor had to give a lot of, advice. They were misled. And they were equating the Operation Hindu. They were the people who were kind of saying, India and Pakistan both the lost. They lost their lives, lost people in Operation Hindu. They were in a way hyphenating India and Pakistan. They have been in a way supporting, not in a way, they have been directly supporting Pakistan in Operation Sindoor when we had to go to them and tell them what exactly happened. And when we dig deep into it, basically the Pakistani embassy had just started it. Before that, it was the Turkish embassy which was running the helm of affairs for them for Pakistan. So if you have the good utna baitna with people like Turkey, Pakistan and such nefarious elements, you will go and support Pakistan. So that means the government is controlled by somebody else. Though they have a very strategic tie-up with America, they have some special provisions with America. All the American coffee comes from Colombia. There are a lot of these routes and this. There are a lot of Colombians who even migrated to America as illegal aliens. But the challenge here is this country seems to have somewhat lost its priorities. How could you side with Pakistan? How do you not know what is the difference between innocent life lost and a life killed by a terrorist? How can the life of a Manjunath be equal to a life of a terrorist whom we eliminated? So this is the fundamental thing. There's something fundamental wrong in this country. That is why even that day I was very furious. I was telling you, these people cannot think between drugs and, there's a very blurry line in that country between a cop dead and between a gangster dead. They will only count dead. And let's not forget the nefarious gangs which are run out of there. Their prisons are, the movies and documentaries about them. So this country is I don't have a word, I don't know what to say it, is a hellhole of these drug cartels, drug money, illicit killings and bloodbath. The society works and runs around that. In Colombia, it's very natural for a policeman to get killed in a broad daylight while doing his duty. It's very common. You stop a car, somebody might pull up a gun and shot you down. In such a situation, why was this candidate given no security? Why was nothing done around this? You were waiting for somebody to come and kill. And see the tyranny of it. If a 14-year-old can go and kill a presidential candidate, 14 saal ka bachcha, then what are we talking about here? Who's running the country? I mean, it's a free-for-all. And these people somehow have to learn from India. They have to learn from India how democracies are run, how people are given protection. Even if you look at, for that matter, even if you look at the United States of America, Vinny, President Trump had 2 assassination attempts on him. There was a third, which they said, nahi hua, whatever. Even if you count 2, there were 2 finite attempts on President Trump. We even really passed. I mean, what the hell is wrong with the West? And one day I saw a picture which amazed me. I saw Anthony Blinken landing in Iraq. I asked somebody in America, he could not answer me. Anthony Blinken landing in Iraq and he was wearing a bulletproof jacket over his suit and tie. Now, who is he? He's the Secretary of State of the United States of America. You have put $15 trillion in that Middle East and you are Secretary of State or the Foreign Minister needs to wear a bulletproof jacket while landing in Iraq. That is the plight of things. So if these are the things, that means these people either are complicit, They don't know what they are doing, or there is some vested interest which is letting things happen to send a political message to something. It's a big drawback for the political system of Colombia. The people have to wake up, and the present government, whoever is there, has to be accountable. If something happens to this man, the present president and his whole cabinet and the police chief and the defense minister will be accountable for that. Because if 14 years start having guns and shooting presidential candidates like this, very soon we are going to become a planet of apes. And the next we don't have to look for a Mars. The Mars will come down here. It will become a perpetual Mars. That is what is happening, Vineet. It is atrocious. This is not acceptable in a civilized world where we live in. I cannot fathom a thought. 14 saal ka bacha comes with a gun and puts 2 bullets in a presidential candidate's hand. And it's all business as usual. Nothing happened. I mean, it doesn't seem to be anybody's business. It's okay. What the hell is happening? Well, it's a complete breakdown of the system of the country. And United States of America, being a close ally, should look into it. Is still a Pablo Escobar who is brewing somewhere? Are still drug lords and mafias carrying out the things? Or is it there the crackdown on these illegals and the drug mafias happening around in the USA, on the Mexican border, on the Canadian borders? Fentanyl is getting stopped. Is that the frustration which is brewing, and unfortunately this guy had to pay the price? There are a lot of questions which are answered. With time we'll come to know what really happened, but what it looks on the face of it, Vineet, is not what meets the eye. There are a lot of complex stories behind it which need to be decoded and which need to be told to the world. We cannot have a situation, a 14-year-old kid gets a pistol, somebody, and walks away. I mean, then like that we were finished. It's a
Right.
It's a planet of apes.
Let me rope in Manan Dwivedi into this conversation as well. Manan, Sumit is right to bring in Donald